Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, April 25th. Looks like we just can't shake the cold air outbreaks in the Great Lakes region in the northeastern part of the nation, at least into the early part of the month of May. We have another shot coming for the northeastern part of the nation by later Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday. And again, it looks like additional cold air outbreaks will make their way from Canada into the U.S. right into next week, maybe even into the second week of the month of May. And there's a couple reasons I really point this out. One is with the continuation of cold air outbreaks into the U.S., that certainly will continue the possibility of some severe weather outbreaks. Really, one of the main ingredients is to have some cold, dry air coming in to the central states, for example, from the northwest, combined with the warm, increasingly humid air that can flow out of the Gulf of Mexico to the north. And with these cold air outbreaks continuing, we certainly will have a continuation over the next 2 or 3 weeks or so of some severe weather outbreaks. And we'll take a look at what could happen today across the Mississippi Valley. Also, anytime you have these cold air outbreaks this time of the year, it's a potential concern for crops and outdoor sensitive vegetation, and certainly some parts of the eastern half of the nation will experience near freezing temperatures over the next couple of weeks. This is kind of an interesting map of the year so far, really up to a few days ago, from January 1st, the temperature anomalies all the way to April 21st. And much of the nation is at or slightly below normal for the year to date. Again, this is from January 1st to April 21st. This particular map from the Prison Climate Group at Oregon State University. But look at the central part of the nation. Certainly the kind of jumps out at you as being colder than normal, especially the northern plains right across Minnesota, extending from really western Wisconsin across Minnesota and into the Dakotas. Of course, the Dakotas experienced some substantial snow just a week or two ago, as much as 20 to 25 inches of snow in parts of North Dakota. Near normal, maybe a tad below normal for the year to date. Interior sections of the Mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S. California, however, so far has been at or above normal for the year to date. Again, this is from January 1st all the way to April 21st. Well, again, we talked about the cold air outbreaks, continuing the possibility of some severe weather outbreaks. This is the forecast map by NOAA's Storm Prediction Center for basically going into the first part of the work week here on Monday. And again, this is all as a result of another cold shot coming in from the northwest to the southeast. There'll be a cold front crossing this region today. It's not exactly an overly impressive look, but it's something we'll watch for the possibility of some strong thunderstorms across this incoming cold front over the next 6 to 12 hours or so. That front crosses the I-95 corridor region later tomorrow night. There could be showers ahead of it, places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City from late tonight into the day on Tuesday. And again, much cooler air will flood the northeastern part of the nation for Wednesday and Thursday. And that will include some overnight lows way down in the 30s late Wednesday night and again late Thursday night. Well, with that continuation of a clash of air masses setting up for the central part of the nation, this is not too surprising. This is a total precipitation forecast map by NOAA's Weather Prediction Center for the next 7 days. And again, the main action across the center part of the nation. There will be certainly some strong storminess in that part of the region over the next 7 days or so, and it will produce some substantial precipitation. Some of this, by the way, across the northern part of the nation will fall in the form of snow. We'll take a look at that in a moment here. Not a heck of a lot showing up in the Mid-Atlantic region. As an example here, that incoming front for the next 48 hours or so will have some shower activity from late tonight into the day on Tuesday, but it does not look like a heavy rain event by any means. And then colder air moves back in to the northeast, the Mid-Atlantic region for the Wednesday, Thursday time frame. Meanwhile, out across the southwestern states, a dry pattern over the next week or so. It looks like little, if any, precipitation at all. Places like California, Arizona, Nevada, and Utah. Quite dry for the next 7 days or so, really all the way into New Mexico and Colorado as well. Well, here's the aforementioned map of snowfall amounts. This is over the next 10 days from last night's 6Z run of the GFS. Some decent amounts across some of the northern Rockies going into the northern plains here over the next 10 days or so. Again, really kind of a delineation here between the northern U.S. and, of course, the southern U.S., where it's increasingly warm and dry across the southwestern states. But again, still some decent snowfall as these cold air outbreaks continue over the next week, 2, maybe even 3 weeks or so from Canada into the central and eastern part of the nation. And it will include some decent snowfall for portions of the northern U.S. Well, let's take a look at last night's 06Z run of the operational version of the GFS. We're looking here at 850 millibar temperature anomalies, warmer than normal conditions across the northeastern quadrant as we begin the new work week. But this is at the 850 millibar level, a couple thousand feet, maybe 3, 4, 5,000 feet above the ground level. And at the low levels of the atmosphere in places like Philadelphia, New York City, won't really warm up all that much today because there is a low-level flow of onshore air, low-level winds out of the east or northeast, and that'll kind of put a limitation on where the temperatures can go this afternoon. Maybe not so much in D.C. They could probably reach the 70s, quite likely confined to the 60s in Philadelphia and New York City, again with a little bit of an onshore flow at the low levels of the atmosphere. Here is the representation of the 850 millibar temperature anomalies for that next cold air outbreak. Again, we talked about a clash zone right here. This is the clash zone area. Watch for potential strong thunderstorms along that incoming frontal system. Again, we have cold, dry air coming in from the north and west, and some warm and humid air down across the southeastern part of the nation. And here's the frontal boundary zone right there as we go into the evening and then into the middle of the day on Tuesday. That cold front pushes into the eastern U.S. again with some showers, but also again not a heavy rain event expected for the mid-Atlantic or the northeastern part of the nation. Then we get into the middle part of the week, and here we go, Wednesday morning, well below normal across the Great Lakes, mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S. This will include some wind as well on Wednesday. Expect 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, out of the northwest on the heels of that cold frontal passage. Meanwhile, above normal conditions across the much of the Rocky Mountain states by the middle of the week. Then we'll just kind of quickly move forward. Stays very chilly on Thursday. And again, this will produce some overnight lows way down in the 30s late Wednesday night, late Thursday night. Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast U.S. starts to turn colder in California, but warmer than normal in the middle of the nation by the end of this work week. And again, we talked about a pretty big storm setting up, looks like, over the central part of the nation this weekend. And here's kind of a representation of colder air on the western side and warmer air, and a little swirl in the pattern here it's seen. That's associated with a strong surface low. Again, a lot of rainfall over the next 7 days in this part of the nation, and much of that will fall during the upcoming weekend. Then we'll move forward. Here we are into the month of May. This is the first day of next week, which would happen to be May 2nd, 7 days from today. And here we go, another cold air outbreak dropping from Canada into the central U.S. And it'll unfortunately work its way into the Midwest, the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S. by the latter part of next week. And again, we'll have to watch for some parts of the Midwest, interior Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, could certainly see low temperatures late at night dropping down to near the freezing mark with this kind of a pattern going into the first week of the month of May. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the 6Z run of the GFS. And here is the frontal system right here. And this is, again, an area we'll watch today, Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley, really over the next 6 to 12 hours or so. The possibility of some strong thunderstorms, maybe even a potential severe thunderstorm or two. Here we go by later on the midday and then the early evening hours. And again, we talked about not a heavy rain event for the Mid-Atlantic region as this frontal system slides in on Tuesday. Certainly some showers, maybe even some patchy fog at times, but it loses some of its punch There will be some showers, but not a heavy rain event on Tuesday. That pushes on through by the time we get to the middle of the week, and here we are on Wednesday. And again, this is the influx of a cold air mass right here, this part of the nation. And look at the isobar pattern. There will be winds gusting up to 25 to 35 miles per hour or so, especially midday and afternoon on Wednesday. Out of the northwest, temperatures well below normal for this time of the year, and that chill sticks around across the mid-Atlantic, the northeast U.S. right into the day on Thursday. Then we get into the upcoming weekend, and again, here we go. By Saturday morning, we talked about this a couple of minutes ago, the possibility of a strong storm system in the middle part of the nation this upcoming weekend that likely will produce some accumulating snow in those higher elevations of the Rockies, especially across places like eastern Wyoming, maybe even into Colorado, and a lot of rainfall out ahead of it in the warm sector this upcoming weekend across much of the central and northern plains. So still an active weather pattern going into the month of May, with the continuation of some cold air outbreaks from Canada into the central and eastern states, not only this week but next week, perhaps even the following week as well. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.